Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
If you're new to the podcast, this is a place where we just like to sit around and chat as friends about whatever. It kind of depends. It changes week to week. This week we're talking about baddies in the Middle Ages, I think is what I was told.
Yeah, you say that with such a question mark in your voice. It's supposed to be baddies in the Middle Ages.
Okay. Well, because I don't think of baddies as a Middle Ages thing, so this ought to be interesting.
I know.
Yeah, so last week we talked about
Shark Week.
Shark Week, right. So yeah, it kind of jumps all over the place. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just kind of depends. Usually Nick enjoys it. I don't sometimes. It kind of depends on what I'm forced to watch.
I was going to say, I don't think there's been a week where I haven't enjoyed our topics.
Yeah.
But that's because usually I choose the topics.
Yeah. Nick chooses a lot of our topics. I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. The only times that I haven't really... And it's not that it's not fun to do this. It's always fun to do this. It's just when I have to watch reality TV that it's not as much fun for me. So that only happens like once or twice a year, luckily. But yeah, anyway, Nick, did you have anything fun happen this week? Anything crazy happen this week?
I guess fun. We hosted my cousin's. It wasn't a bachelor party. It was more like a bachelor weekend because a lot of my family participated.
Okay.
But
That's
that was fun. So I am hosting the bridal shower day for my soon-to-be cousin-in-law. We're gonna go to Herman and do a
Nice.
Wine bachelorette day.
Nice. I did not... I just worked a lot this week, which is no different than any other week for me. But I worked even more this week than normal, it seemed like. So I don't know what happened. But yeah, it's just been another week. But anyway,
A week.
You said you have a shout out this week. I don't have. We didn't get. Nobody wants to comment on YouTube anymore. So or I say anymore. Nobody ever wanted to comment on YouTube really because we're just that. I guess unpopular. But anyway, what did you have?
Okay.
For
we had a comment
week?
on Instagram.
Okay.
So it was the reel that I was talking about. One of my fears is like doing dishes at night or something and looking at the window and seeing a face in the dark window. Yeah. And the caption of it so I said living in the rural country is going to be a literal nightmare for me. But when I said that, like in the clip, and you laughed like extremely hard, and Sophie commented that Kev's laugh made her laugh. So Sophie was saying she appreciated your laugh because it was like because I was being stupid. So yeah.
Thanks, Soph.
So
okay. Well, I'm glad
that was our shout out.
I'm glad my laugh can make you laugh, Soph. That makes me happy. So yeah. So I mean the living in the country terrifying you is kind of comical to me. I don't
Well, you know what? I grew up I grew up in a suburb. Most of my family is from the country, but I didn't grow up in the country.
Yeah.
I grew up reading serial killer stories.
Yeah.
When I think of the country, I think of Villisca Axe Murder House in Iowa. So I've always had even though most of my family is from the country, like rural areas, I always picture axe murderers and serial killers in the country, which is so funny because they probably think that of the city.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's different versions. I think it's
different crime, but
it's shootings is what it is in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and in the country, it's more like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is what it is. It's like axe
Yeah.
murderers and things. Yeah, I think it's just a different version of it, but yeah, yeah, pretty much. It's it's comical
Yeah.
how that
Because
kind
it
of stuff
always
goes.
happens in a town where they're like, the narrator's like, this is a town where you don't have to lock your doors.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I almost said a
Always
curse
lock
word.
your doors.
I'm going to lock my
Always lock your doors.
doors.
Yeah, always lock your doors.
So,
That's just a smart
yeah.
thing to do. But anyway, so this week we're talking about baddies in the Middle Ages.
Hmm.
Nick, baddies in the
Hmm.
Middle Ages. I don't. That doesn't really
I'm so
seem
excited.
to. That doesn't really seem to mesh in my
I know
brain.
when I said this was going to be our topic, I think you just stared at me like, I don't even know if your brain could put the two together. Like,
Probably not.
what is she saying?
Yeah.
So, when I say baddie, what do you think that word
The
means?
first thing that popped into my
Hmm.
head when you say baddie, the absolute first thing, and I don't know that
Hmm.
you actually would consider this or him one, because I don't even know if
Okay.
it's a him. I don't even know if it's like a sex or anything. I don't know if it matters. But
Uh-huh.
the first thing I thought of was Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's like, to me,
Okay.
and there's reasoning behind this, because
Okay, yeah, I
I
want
don't
to hear this.
think I don't think of a baddie when I hear the word baddie. I don't
Hmm.
think of like a truly evil criminal person.
Hmm.
I think of like somebody that's just like
Hmm.
kind of not like mischievous, but
Okay.
more just looking out for themselves, usually kind of like just kind of on the wrong side of a
So,
lot of things, and just kind of
okay.
basically trying to kind of walk the line, but do things that they probably aren't supposed to. But
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
like
So that is not at all.
I also think of usually relatively good looking people when I think of a baddie too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say that. Well, I don't know. Neither of those were really kind of what I was. So a baddie in my usage, and I looked it up on Urban Dictionary too, just to make sure I wasn't like crazy, because I when I first Googled baddies in the Middle Ages, it came up with like, here are some famous criminals in the Middle Ages. And I'm like, no, that's not a baddie. So a baddie is a woman
okay,
who can hold her own
okay,
and is independent and
okay,
can take care of herself.
okay,
And then Urban Dictionary also says she can also be very pretty.
okay. So Urban Dictionary throws in the attractiveness. Okay,
Yeah,
of course, Urban
yeah.
Dictionary throws in something along those lines. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Um,
So that's funny. So you think a baddie is Jack Sparrow, and I think a baddie is an independent woman.
I mean,
That's funny. But
I
I think it's been used different ways over the years too. Because
okay,
when I say baddie, I'm thinking like Gen Z, Gen A TikTok
yeah.
usage.
Well,
So
that's definitely not um,
yeah.
anywhere where I'm going to get anything from, because it's not.
Yeah, I know. So that's a baddie. But then also the Middle Ages. I mean, you say Middle Ages and people are like, okay. But the like to actually define the Middle Ages, I think is something I don't ever remember focusing a lot on in school. Even in like AP Euro, I know we defined this. I know this was on our test, but still it's kind of like this nothingness in between the Western Roman Empire and the Renaissance. I
Yeah,
feel like we learn more about either end of those,
yeah. I
if that
mean,
makes sense.
I think we probably touched on things in the Middle Ages, but I don't really remember
Yeah.
the time period or anything. Like, I don't
So
know
it's
exactly what it is, but
it's also known as the medieval period.
yeah,
I feel like
medieval
more people
times.
know
Yeah,
medieval.
yeah.
So the roughly fifth to 15th century. So I guess the term Middle Ages, it was actually coined by Renaissance scholars. So after all this happened, because that's how they viewed the fall of the Roman Empire to the Renaissance was the middle. And so now scholars like separate it out to The early Middle Ages, the high Middle Ages, and the late Middle Ages.
Okay.
But 5th to 15th century.
So 1,000 years.
Yeah, it's like a long time. That's why they
Okay.
split it up even. Yeah. But it's weird that it's like it's such this long span of time in modern, history
Yeah.
terms at least. Um, I don't know, and I just feel like maybe it's because there's such expansive history there that it'd be hard to learn a lot rather than learning about like the American Revolution or something. That's like just a couple years where we
Yeah.
can do a deep dive, learn a lot about it versus 5th to 15th century is a very long time
Yeah.
period.
I mean, 1,000 years
I
is
don't
a
know.
long flipping time. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's no different than learning about like, you know, the Roman
Hmm.
or Egyptian empires or something like that that lasted, tens of thousands of years
Yeah.
or something. But
Yeah.
it is a long time period. But I don't
Hmm.
know how long. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, if it ended in the 15th century or
Hmm.
in the
Like
15th
roughly around the
century,
time of the Renaissance.
the Renaissance couldn't have lasted that long because we're only in the 21st century now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. So it's
so
it's like a pretty long,
yeah, for what you're
period of
talking
time.
about for a time span, it is a long time. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, 100%.
so let's hear
Um,
about these baddies. Let's
okay.
hear about these
Yeah,
people.
so I'm just gonna tell you about a couple, and
Okay.
then I have a fun game for
Okay. So
us. But
are we
so
rating them or are we just talking about what's going on here?
no, I'm
Okay.
just gonna tell you about a couple.
Okay.
Um, so these are different women. They're different. Some are like soldiers, some are like in the religious world, some are neither. I don't know. But they're just some, they defied some societal norm or had power that was unconventional for their time. They were just a baddie of their time. So the first one, Margaret of Anjou, was queen consort of England
Did she come up with a
to
sauce?
Henry VI. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to look that up.
I don't even know. I don't know if there's an in the sauce, but that's what it made me think of.
You know
That
what?
was supposed to be a joke, by the way. I wasn't expecting you to
No,
actually
I
look this up.
know, but she was from France, and I wonder if that's just named after
Just
like
named
the
after
region in
her? Okay,
France.
it's possible,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, not like after her, but
But
like
the
the
region,
region
yeah.
maybe. That might be a fun fact for like next episode. We might have to
Okay.
look at that.
Let's come back to that. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. So she was queen consort for King Henry VI, a super strong, ambitious figure in the War of Roses, which I'd heard of before, like, but I don't know a ton about. But I guess basically she was queen consort. She led the Lancaster house, I guess, and basically was known for making a bunch of very like strategic political decisions. She was involved in some battles, but in the end, it was unsuccessful. So like she wanted to obtain the crown for her son, but I think they lost in the end. But she was known as being like this super strategic, strong-willed, and very ambitious in a time where, so this was 1482.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
like a
Very,
a woman, leading the strategic battles was not common at
very
the
Game of
time.
Thrones esque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she is, I think, popular. Oh, and I forgot to say this too. I tried to choose like women in different regions too,
Okay.
kind of. A lot of them are like English, French, Italian, but so she was English, and so she's popular in a lot of like English history.
That makes sense. I don't
Yeah.
think that's another thing about like these time periods is I don't think of the Middle Ages or the medieval times of being anywhere but Europe. Like I know that it
Yeah.
technically was the entire world that was going through this, but I don't think of like
I
the
think it
people or
is
anything that was
basically just
happening is
Europe.
it's Europe. Like
Yeah.
because China would have been doing its own thing.
Yeah. Well,
people,
I
the
think
indigenous
that
people here in America
term,
would have been here doing their own things. The I
yeah, but I wonder if they all have different terms because when I looked up, a definition of the Middle Ages, because, I had an idea, but I wanted a
hmm
definition. Um, it's the Renaissance scholars in Europe gave that name to this period of time in Europe.
So then maybe it is just Europe.
So
Okay,
maybe yeah, it's the same period of time all around the world, but I wonder if different areas
have a different
have
name.
different, like it's not called the Middle Ages, it's called something else,
Yeah.
The Great Dynasty. I don't know. But anyways, so that's Margaret Avant. I'm just gonna give like brief little things because I
Yeah.
really just want to play this game, but um
I'm all for games. I love games.
she was cool. So definitely like a strategic, willed woman in England when women in England didn't have a lot of compared to today
Yeah.
rights. Um, okay, next one. So, oh, let me get rid of my tab for juice sauce. Okay. So, next one is from France. So, Jean, I don't know if they pronounce that differently, like Jean, but I'm going to go with Jean because I'm
Okay.
American.
Yeah.
Jean Hatchett, real name Jean Lisnier. Lisnier? I don't
Sure,
know.
we'll go with it.
So, 15th century emblematic figure in the history of the French city of Beauvois, resistance to the siege laid by Charles the Bold, which is a baller name. Like I know we've talked about this before, like what our names would be if we were royals. That's a good one, Charles the Bold. But I don't remember what our names were.
I
I'd
I'm
have to go
sure.
back and
I
listen.
don't remember. Yeah,
But
we are insufficient. I don't remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, was laying siege to the town of Beauvoir.
Okay.
Maybe that's how you say that. I don't know. Um, so this was in the
No flipping idea.
1472. And so basically what happened is she was born in this city, lived in this city, because I'm sure at that time you just were born and raised and lived and died and all in the same town. Like there probably wasn't a lot of travel like nowadays
I
at this
mean,
time.
I would say
Like
there was
far travel.
probably not as like it depend. It depends. I would say there's some travel, but I would say not.
Yeah.
No, not as frequent. If you made a long journey, that was like yeah a big thing because it would take
Mhm.
days, months, years for you to go somewhere that
Yeah.
far. So
Yeah. So it says she was born, raised, and died in this town of Beauvoir. So June 27th, 1472, the town was under attack. Jean wielded an axe in order to push back a Burgundian. Oh, because it was the Duke of Burgundy.
mm,
I see. Also, there's so many different names of different countries and counties and towns and place that all changed now. But so I've never heard of Burgundy. Anyways, she wielded an axe and then wanted to push back a Burgundian who had planted a flag upon the battlement. So, like, planted a flag in the town, was trying to stake it as his own. Um, so she killed him.
good for
Axe
her.
in hand, Jean flung herself on him, hurled him into the moat, tore down the flag, and revived the flagging courage of the defenders. But so the reason, like, besides just killing a man with an axe, which is pretty baller, pretty batty, if I do say so myself, she also got the other women in town to fight as well. So they brought gunpowder, guns, other weapons, axes, pitchforks, and anything they could find. And all these Burgundian attackers were apparently pushed back by help of all the women that were defending the town. But so there's now a statue in this town of Beauvoir of Jean Hatchett wielding her axe. She's a baddie. Yeah,
Good job, Gene.
we do this now. We don't. We don't do this. We do this now.
What is this? This is like,
Something Gen Z does.
what
I
happened to
don't
the
know.
snaps? I thought the snaps was the thing.
That was a thing for a while. That was like 15 years ago.
15 years ago?
No, like 10 maybe.
Oh,
When was I
okay.
in college?
I don't know.
Whenever I first started college, that was a thing. Now it's this.
This makes me feel like I'm playing little cymbals, like one of those monkeys. It's what it makes me think
Like one of
like.
those little monkeys.
Yeah, like that's what it makes me think of. That's kind of what it makes me feel like.
If anyone is listening to this on like Spotify or whatever and not watching on YouTube, they're gonna be so confused as to what we're doing right now. But that's okay. We're
Well, I
insufficient.
mean, clapping, finger, whatever, finger snaps. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
wave. I don't know. Like I'm 30
Yeah.
something years old. Like I don't know what people do
I
anymore. I just clap.
know. Yeah.
You
But
applause.
anyways, so that was Jean Hatchet. She looks pretty baller in the statue, so definitely a baddie.
Sounds like she was baller. She killed a man with an axe and
Yeah, and threw him in a moat.
threw him in a moat. Got a bunch of other women to fight for
There's a lot of
the
people I
city.
feel like I would want to do that too. So more power to her. That's awesome. Okay. So next one. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. I did.
Kill him and
So
throw him into the moat. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't really
it's
know.
out there now.
It's kind of already there now, isn't
Um,
it? Like
okay. So next one is Italian. So we did English, French, and now we're doing Italian. And then our last one is French. So Catherine of Siena or Saint Catherine. So God, this name is so long. Caterina di Jacopo di Benincasa.
I'm guessing that's wrong, but okay, we'll go with it.
Known as Catherine of Siena.
We'll go with that.
She was an Italian mystic and pious laywoman who engaged in papal and Italian politics through extensive letter writing and in person advocacy. So she was born in 1347, but because of what I'll tell you in a second here, she was canonized in 1461. So she's revered as a saint and a doctor of the church, and wrote a lot of theological papers.
You said
So she
1461.
Yeah, 1461 was when she was canonized, but she was like became a saint,
Well, that's. I'm just trying to think. That's not.
right?
Yeah, that's you're correct with the canonization and like how you become a saint. But I'm trying to think like if she was born in 1347, right? And you said
Yeah.
1461 is when she was canonized. That's not.
Yeah.
I mean, considering like time span, that doesn't seem that long after she would have died.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't seem like
No,
that
and
long.
but it might make sense here in a second
Okay.
because she was when I tell you what she did, maybe it will make sense because it was a massive event at this time.
Okay.
Um, so she was born and raised in Siena, Italy. So I guess Siena is a city in Tuscany, so like central Italy. Um, from an early age, devoted herself to God. Her parents didn't want her to, but she joined a group of pious women. That was part of the Dominican order because there's different orders, within the church and blah, 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 lots of Catholic things, whatever. So that's how I explain
Okay.
being Catholic.
Anyway.
I'm sure Aunt Cindy is listening to this being like, yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
So, Saint Catherine, she had a lot of influence with some of the popes. So, Pope Gregory XI, what's XI? The
XI
11th?
is 11th. Yeah.
Okay. So, he was head of the Catholic Church in 1370 to 1378. So, he was the last Avignon Pope. And I had to look this up. So the Avignon papacy years, 1309 to 1376. That time frame, the papacy was located in Avignon, France, rather than Rome.
Hmm.
So big deal
Interesting.
to get that back to Rome, which I think was why it seems like she was canonized not that long after, because that was probably a massive deal. She was very influential in ending the papacy there and getting a new pope in Rome.
Hmm.
I think if I'm reading all this right, I'm that's what it seems
That's
like.
I wonder.
So,
I wonder why it moved out of Rome and then back to Rome. I kind of
no
figured it was
idea.
always in. I
Oh,
kind of.
here it was influenced by conflicts between the papacy and the French monarchy and internal struggles within Italy.
Hmm.
So, I'm assuming, because it wasn't just Italy. Like the Pope controlled England,
Yeah.
France, like other territories. So I'm
Everything.
sure it was
Yeah.
just political stuff.
That makes sense.
Um, this just says conflicts. So, but the Avignon papacy, so they, I guess, faced a lot of criticism because they were trying to like reform the church, like change some things. I don't know, this could be completely wrong, but the way I'm reading this seems like, what the Protestants or who is Martin Luther? I don't know, whoever wanted to like left the Catholic Church because they wanted to reform it and it wasn't going to be reformed. Was that Martin Luther and his 13? I don't know. Maybe I'm way off, but that's kind of what it seems like they were trying to like, I don't know. We're getting really deep and I'm getting myself confused, but
I don't
maybe
know that
if
much
you
about
want more religious
religion.
history, go listen to a religious history
Yeah.
podcast because I'm just trying to tell you why Catherine's a baddie, but I'm confusing myself.
Yeah.
Anyways, she was so influential to the Pope. She wrote a lot of like religious literature, but ended up to protest, everything going on. She fasted and eventually passed away because she had like exhausted herself from
Dang.
fasting, basically.
Dang.
And so she had a massive funeral, was buried in Rome, and then she had a lot of devotees like right after. So people were like praying to her and everything. And I think that's why she was canonized so soon after.
Okay, that makes
Because
sense.
usually it is like a really longer
Yeah.
time. But
Okay.
so again, if you want more about her, go listen to a religious podcast because I was raised Catholic and I don't understand this ish. So, um,
We are
but
insufficient.
that's Saint Catherine of Italy,
Okay.
and probably the worst, retelling of her life ever.
More than
But you
likely.
know
Yeah.
what?
More than likely.
She was a baddie, so credits to her credits due. She was a baddie. But okay, my last one.
Back to
Are you
France.
ready?
Sure.
Back to France. So, Joan of Arc.
Okay. I've
You
actually
know I
heard
had to
this
do
name.
it.
I've actually heard this
Yeah,
name before. Yeah.
yeah. I had to do it, Kev. So, Joan of Arc, I figured I'd end with her because everyone's heard her name before. So also there was some funny things when I was looking up like why is Joan of Arc so popular? Why is she a saint? I can count on Reddit. Someone said, I copy pasted this into my notes because I thought it was funny. Someone asked, why is Joan of Arc a saint? And someone just replied, because she's in heaven. Like,
It's not
okay.
how that works, bud, but okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Joan of Arc, she's French, is a patron saint of France. So she was born in 1412, died around 1431, and was honored as being a defender for her role in the siege of Orleans. Orleans? I don't know how they pronounce it because I say like New Orleans. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it, but it's spelled the same way. So she was insistent on the coronation of Charles VII during the Hundred Years' War. She had, claimed that she was acting under divine guidance, became a military leader. There's like movies and shows about her, about how she transcended, gender roles at the time and became a warrior.
So she was 19
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was young.
when she died. Okay.
Young.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's another reason why I think people are so like fascinated. Um, So she
Okay.
was sent to battle at 17 years old
Yeah.
because
Okay.
so she was claiming these like divine, guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and Charles the seventh, the seventh, sent her to battle because he believed that she was pure, devoted, whatever. So at 17, she was sent to the army. Um,
Okay.
and it says she arrived and wielded her banner and brought hope to the demoralized French army. I love that word, demoralized.
Okay.
So, but 9 days after her arrival, the English abandoned the siege. She encouraged the French to like aggressively pursue the English as they, were retreating. And I guess it was like a really decisive victory
Hmm.
and like
Nice.
greatly boosted French morale and paved the way for, I think it was a long, long time later. They eventually won the Hundred-Year War. I think it was a long, long time after, but yeah.
Okay.
So she was made a patron saint.
Good for her. I'm gonna do another
Hmm.
applause. Sorry. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't clap. Sorry.
Hmm. But now she eventually. Oh yeah, you got to do this.
I did. I did that. Yeah. See. Yeah.
I was looking at my notes. I wasn't paying attention. Go Joan of Arc. So, but eventually though, like, okay, so she was made a patron saint like way later because in 1431, so at 19 or 20, she was put on trial for heresy because she was blasphemous for wearing men's clothes, acting on visions that were demonic. So people said, no, your visions weren't from God, they were from demons. So,
She just saved your flipping country.
yeah, I think that's why she is such a popular story to everyone. Um, because it's just like typical. A woman saves the country and then gets executed for it being a capital crime. Whatever.
Come on, people.
But she was a baddie.
I would agree.
Yeah. So those were my
I'm gonna actually
top
clap this time.
5. Mm-hmm.
I think there was only 4 there, but yeah, sure.
4?
We'll go top
Top
5.
4? I couldn't remember how many I did. But so that was actually really fun because I'd heard of Joan of Arc. I have a book on Joan of Arc actually. Never read it, but it's on my bookshelf. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was
Okay.
fun. It was fun to like look through the different notes and
Yeah.
everything for each of the women because I like to do a deep dive into things that I have absolutely no business doing a deep dive into and
Yeah.
procrastinating other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun this week to do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
I'm
Are you ready
glad.
for our game?
Sure, let's go.
Okay.
I always like the
All
games.
right. So this game is called Badass or Bogus.
Okay.
Basically, true false.
Okay.
Okay. So, badass or bogus. Joan of Arc took an arrow to the chest, removed it herself, and returned to battle.
Um that um I'm gonna say badass. I don't. I'm gonna say badass. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay. Nice. Good for
she
her.
sure did. It was during the siege of Orleans, and then she took it out and went back to rally the troops. So that's
Do I
badass.
have something? Hold on.
Are you looking for
What
your
sound
sound?
effect? What sound effect can I do? Hold on. What sound effect can I do? I want something different. There we go. A squeaky toy. There we go. Okay.
Good thing the dogs can't hear it. Okay. Badass or bogus? There was a medieval nun who escaped her convent by disguising herself as a corpse.
I'm gonna say that's a badass thing too. That seems like
Mhm.
that seems like a very um, that seems like a very easy thing that you could do. Like
Hmm.
that seems like
Yeah,
something you could easily do,
yeah.
and you see in like
And
yeah,
it says there were actually multiple recorded
yeah.
cases of nuns either faking their deaths, pretending to be corpses, or dressing as men to flee convent life.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Um, okay. Badass or bogus? Eleanor of Aquitaine wrote one of the earliest cookbooks in Europe.
Um, well, this seems like it's just thrown in. This doesn't seem like a badass thing. This just seems like a random thing that you threw in here to throw me off somewhere. So I'm going to say this is bogus.
It is
Okay.
bogus. I guess it's like a rumor that she wrote a cookbook or something. I don't know. So, oh, I kind of heard that.
If you're listening to this or watching this, most of the time Nikki can't hear the sound effects that
Yeah,
come
I
across
have
here.
no idea what Kevin's doing on his end of this Zoom. So, I mean, he could be like making me sound like a sim all episode, and I would just have no idea. So, yeah, Eleanor of Aquitaine. So she was Queen of France from 1137 to 1152, and was very influential in changing the culture of the court. But apparently, never wrote a cookbook.
Okay. That also
So,
doesn't seem like a very like badass thing to me. That's just like a
I mean, think about in a time where women aren't allowed to write and publish
I guess
things.
that's true.
It could be.
I guess that's true.
I mean,
That makes sense.
in this
If you
case, it
look
was
at it,
false,
if you
but
look at it that way, then yeah, I guess it's true.
yeah.
But
Okay. Number 4. Christine de Pizan argued that women should be allowed to become doctors and scholars.
I'm gonna say badass.
Yeah. You're on a roll.
Look at me. Look at me.
So this says badass. In the book of the City of Ladies, she defended women's intellect and right to education,
Good.
which is just like crazy that still around the world there are girls and women who aren't allowed to get education.
Yeah.
It makes me so sad because, here, well, I guess there's still very much a lack of access to education because you have to pay for certain levels of education.
Yeah.
But here, theoretically, women could attain any
Mm-hmm.
degree they wanted.
Yeah.
There are some countries that even if they could pay for it, they're not allowed to, which is like so sad to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ugh,
It's
so,
awful. Yeah.
thank you, Christine de Pizan. Sounds Italian.
Well, that's just because it makes you think of pizza, so
Yeah, it does.
it's just the way it is. Just makes you think of pizza. It makes me think of pizza. Like,
Yeah.
now I want pizza. Just the way
Okay.
it is.
Badass or bogus? Medieval women couldn't legally own property under any circumstances.
I mean, I'm gonna guess it's. Well, I mean, we're going true or false, which badass means
Yeah,
true. I'm
true
gonna
or
guess.
false.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess it's badass. It's true. It's terrible. I don't actually like that, but I'm gonna guess it's true.
It is actually bogus.
Really? Okay. Well, that's
Mhm.
interesting. What?
So many noble women,
Oh, noble women.
widows and
Okay.
heiresses,
If you
yeah,
were, I guess,
own land.
if you were bestowed it when your husband died or something, then
Yes,
that makes okay. Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
So many widows and heiresses own land and wielded significant legal power.
Okay, that's true.
Okay.
They couldn't have purchased it themselves, but when their husband died after they had bought it or owned it, then it became theirs. That's okay.
Mm. Okay. Hildegard of Bingen.
That's a name
Bingen?
right there.
Yeah, that is. I know. I had to stop myself
Wow.
after I said it out loud because I typed these up, but when you say it out loud, that is a name.
Hildegard. Hildegard of Bingen. That is a. I'm guessing.
Hildegard of
Yeah,
Bingen.
Bingen is
Where the hell
obviously
is
the. I don't
Bingen?
know, but also that's another thing about these times, like
Germany.
back in the day, is it's just your like your family name of wherever you're from is what it is,
Hmm.
which is just a random, like, it's just an
Hmm.
interesting way of doing it, and I
Yeah.
don't know, like, there's only one person, like,
Hmm.
you've got a whole like, there's four of you in your family, you, Nathan,
Yeah.
mom and
Hmm.
dad, like, you'd all have the same name though, like theoretically.
Yeah.
You'd all be
I don't,
Muns of
well,
Kansas
I don't
City.
know.
Like,
It would be like Nicole of,
would it?
because Hildegard is our first name.
Is it? Okay, I maybe it is.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't give you much information. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
there
Well,
I
I
guess
mean, maybe
names.
there's literally like one no. So it says it's a town in the Rhineland district in Germany. Maybe it's like one noble family ruled this town. No one else got that same name. So maybe she was the only Hildegard of Bingen that could like claim that name, you know?
Okay.
Maybe there was like another townsperson named Hildegard, but she can't say,
Of Bingen.
I'm Hildegard of Bingen.
Okay.
She's just Hildegard.
That's true. Okay, I guess that's true. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't really know how that works. I
But
don't claim to know how that works. It's just funny to me that I always hear it's of this town and of that town and whatever. And it's
yeah.
like, do you all not have your own, like, do you all not have an actual name? We're just here's me of
Yeah.
this place. Here's where I'm from. I'm just going to tell you all about
hmm
me and my name. So, but I'm
Which
sure there's
I
a
feel
reasoning
like both of
behind
us
it.
have, yeah. I feel like both of us have like really pretty town names, like Kevin of Spring. Well, were you actually born in Springfield?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. So Springfield's a pretty name of a town.
hmm
Kevin of Springfield.
Except
And
there's
then
like
Blue Springs.
49 different Springfields across the U.S. or something
Yeah.
like that.
But I mean, when you think of like the size of Missouri compared to some countries,
Yeah,
you could have had a Kevin of Springfield in one country.
that's true.
Like Missouri is probably the size of some countries.
That's
So,
true.
um,
But they're also
and then
I
Blue
went
Springs is pretty too.
I was friends with two other Kevins and when I was a kid. So
Well,
like
yeah, but
that's the other
imagine
problem
you
too.
are you're the ruling
The
Kevin.
ruling family. I'm the ruling Kevin.
Yeah. Like there was only one ruling family, of
Yeah.
each town.
Yeah. I am
I
the
assume, again,
I am
I'm
the ruling
assuming
Kevin.
right now.
I am the
So,
ruling Kevin.
yeah, you're the ruling Kevin. So you can claim I'm Kevin of Springfield.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's how it works.
I
So anyway, Hildegard of Bingen
Hildegard of Bingen.
claimed to receive visions from God and then told off the Pope.
Nice.
True or false? Or
Uh,
badass or bogus?
I'm gonna say badass, just because I want it to be true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it says Hildegard of Bingen was a mystic who boldly wrote letters to religious leaders, including the Pope, criticizing the corruption.
Nah, good for you. Call out the corruption. That's a.
Good for you,
There you
Bingen.
go. There you go. Call out the corruption. There you go.
Mhm. Okay. Badass or bogus? There was a female medieval assassin who used poisoned jewelry to kill nobles.
Um, I'm I'm gonna guess badass.
No,
Really?
bogus.
Okay.
Says this is a fun cinematic idea, but no historical records actually back this up.
Hmm. It is an interesting idea, like
hmm
poisoned jewelry to kill nobles. Like that's a
Yeah.
fun assassin
hmm
thing, but
I've heard of like a poisoned Bible. Like they put some powder or something in a Bible and it eventually like over time made you sicker and sicker and sicker because people would read their Bibles every day throughout the
yeah.
day. That I've heard of, but I've
Hmm.
never heard of jewelry.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Badass or bogus? A woman in France known as the She-Wolf helped overthrow her husband, King Edward II. Badass or bogus?
I'm gonna guess badass. I have no
hmm
idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Badass. Miss Isabella of France was a baddie. She was known as the She-Wolf,
Okay.
which is that's a baddie
That's
nickname.
that's a good name. That's a good nickname.
That's like the battiest of all the baddie names that we've had so far.
That's a good nickname.
She-Wolf, that's amazing. So it says the nickname came from her intelligent, I'm not intelligent, I can't say the word, intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
assertiveness, and ruthless political actions.
Nice.
So she led a rebellion with her lover, Roger Mortimer, and forced her husband Edward to abdicate the throne.
Hmm. Good for her.
We love to see it.
I hope he was. I hope he was a terrible human and like actually
I
deserved
have no
to be
idea.
kicked
Let's
off
see,
the throne.
King Edward the Second.
But I mean, I feel like a lot of leaders at that time probably did deserve to
Yeah,
be kicked off the throne. So I'm gonna say, yeah, they
probably.
were probably fine, but
Yeah, he was deposed in January 1327.
hmm,
I don't know.
interesting.
Oh, Edward had a close and controversial relationship with a man in his household, Piers Gaveston. Ooh.
So he was
So
gay.
that's why his wife was like, "Are you kidding me? Get out of here."
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Two more.
Okay.
There was a female pirate in the Middle Ages who had her ship painted black and flew a red banner.
Badass.
No,
Okay.
bogus. This is a post-medieval pirate trope.
Okay. I want a female pirate that's like awesome. So
Hmm. Yeah.
it's just kind of a want.
Um, yeah. Okay, last one. Some medieval wives also worked as unofficial doctors and were accused of witchcraft.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
badass. Yeah. Yeah.
So these baddies had practical medical knowledge, which sometimes led to suspicion of being a witch.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
wild.
anything that they could have done would have been definitely
Yeah.
definitely claims of witches.
Mm-hmm.
Drown them if they
Mm-hmm.
if they drown, they're not a witch, and if they don't drown,
Mm-hmm.
then they're a witch. So you die either
Yeah.
way.
Very
doesn't
logical.
it doesn't make any
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Yeah,
burn them,
extremely
burn
logical.
burn them at the
You
stake.
know who created that? Men.
Oh
So
yeah,
of
for sure.
course it's
Yeah,
logical.
for sure. Yeah, we're not very smart. we're we're pretty
You're
stupid.
not baddies.
No, we're pretty stupid. Yeah, we're pretty stupid for sure. Yeah.
That
Anyway,
was fun. That was a fun game.
it was. I think that means it's time for facts though.
Hmm.
So I'll go first this time because I have
Okay.
something that kind of goes along those same lines. So I hope that
Okay.
I hope I don't steal your fact because kind of
I
goes
don't think
along
so.
with the witches,
Hmm.
specifically trials, witch trials.
Oh,
So
okay.
in the Middle Ages,
Hmm.
which we don't do this anymore, but I thought this was funny. In the Middle Ages, animals were sometimes subject to criminal trials like humans. Um,
Isn't that so dumb?
it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, they didn't happen often; they were pretty uncommon. But they could be charges just like humans faces for harming people, damaging property, or even as far as like being possessed by a demon.
So crazy.
One well-known example was from 1386. A sow, so a female pig, in France was accused of mauling and killing a baby. Pig was found guilty, sentenced to have one leg torn off, and then hanged.
That's such a random execution style.
Yes. And
Also, that was definitely like the fault of a parent just not parenting.
yep.
And then they were like, my pig is
Yep.
demonic.
Yep. It was also pretty common for like animal, or not common, but in these trials, a sentence would also be like animals being excommunicated or something like that. So bees and locusts were sometimes excommunicated for damaging crops or something if there was like a bad season. So
Because that's controllable.
people are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this
Yeah.
is just, yeah, people are crazy. But I
Yeah.
thought that was funny.
I get it and I don't. Like they want to make meaning of things in a
Yeah.
time where there's not a lot of scientific knowledge
Hmm.
because what did we call it? The dumbing of the
The
world or whatever.
stupefying. The great
The great
stupidity.
stupefying.
The great
Yes, we've
stupidity, the great
lost all
stupefying.
our
Yes.
ancient knowledge and then we became extremely dumb. We're still pretty dumb. I mean, you and I have a podcast where we talk about things that we don't actually know about.
Yeah.
So I would argue we're still kind of dumb, but we're not that dumb. But I get that they were trying to find, like, they didn't know why the crops would fail. So they blamed it on God or the locusts or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
And
locusts
now we
would cause the
know.
crops to go, like,
Well, yes,
they were
yeah.
eating the crops,
But
but
to like
banishing the
excommunicate
locusts, yeah.
them, like,
Excommunicating the locusts
okay.
is like,
Yeah,
okay. Like,
yeah,
what are the locusts aren't going to just leave because you told them to. That's not how that works. Like,
yeah, exactly. But,
anyway. Nick,
mhm.
what is your fact for this week?
So, medieval women often brewed and sold ale, which gave rise to one of the witch stereotypes because the brewsters wore pointed hats so they could be better seen at markets, but they also brewed in cauldrons.
No, fun. That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that. Hmm. I wonder if that's where it, like the stereotype comes from.
I'm assuming so. I mean, it says these images were later linked to witch tropes. So,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
A
Well, I
woman
mean,
is stirring a cauldron in a
in a pointy
pointed
hat.
hat,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what you see in movies nowadays.
Yeah.
But really, all she was doing was just trying to make a living because she's a baddie, independent woman,
Mm-hmm.
and
Get
now
everybody
she's in a
drunk.
movie as a trope.
Yep. Get everybody drunk on
Hmm.
ale. So, hey, I wonder where the old hag thing came from. I
I
wonder where
don't
that
know.
one came from.
I have no idea.
Anyway, I think that's it for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you want us to talk about something in particular that you think would be fun or interesting, let us know down below wherever you get this on Instagram. In the comments down below, we'll try to find it wherever it is. And we'll probably talk about it because, like I've said in the past, we don't have that many good ideas, so we'll eventually probably get to it or take it and use it somewhere. So yeah, we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.